Do you really want to build a huge community of students that stick with you from beginning to generations training? Let's do this. Hey guys, my name is Jennifer Waters. I am the Sales and Systems Sensei. Thanks for joining this video. Let's talk about how to create generations of students training inside of your martial arts school. Now, I'm a second generation martial artist, and I actually have my son involved in martial arts too. So now that's 3 generations of martial artists. It's such a great feeling knowing that I have this history of my dad and my mom training in martial arts. I train, my husband as well, we both train, and now our son. And for your students, they feel the exact same way too. If you can create an impact in their lives where they would want to have, generations training. So this video is all about how to actually prevent people from quitting, keep them training, and have them train to the extent that they love it so much, they'll then put their children in, and perhaps those children grow up, and then they put their children into classes. So step number 1 is figuring out why someone would want to stay that long. A lot of times what I see working with clients inside of our 7-figure dojo program is that they understand that there's the martial arts side, and they're trying to teach them whatever the style is, whatever the art is, and they're trying to get the student much better at that. But beyond that, there's no vision past that. There's no reason why people would really want to stay a part of the community. I've found that when you can create a reason for them to stay a part of the community, and you can create a reason for them to keep achieving more and more and more, they will stay longer. So one of the very first things to do is to establish your student vision. What will your students accomplish after 1 year, 3 years, 5, 10, 15 years? What level could they get to? There's a verse in the Bible that says, without vision, the people perish. And essentially what that means is if they don't have any idea where they're going, they're just gonna give up. And that's gonna prevent you from having multiple generations trained inside your martial arts school. The most successful clients we have, the most successful students that we have are the ones that understand what the end goal is and what the vision is for them. So in order to facilitate this generational training and these communities training inside your martial arts school, you need to have some age-specific classes. Because if you think about it, you're gonna have a student start with you when they're very young, but what happens when they get older and older and older? Do you have something that they can flow from one age bracket into the next? And this is where I see a lot of people have kids classes and then they have adult classes, but they forget that very pivotal moment in the middle, the moment where most martial arts schools lose students. And that is the teens area or the teens classes. They're great at teaching little kids, they're great at teaching adults, but they just don't do so great teaching teens. And what we found inside of our flagship dojo is that once we installed a teens class right in the middle, it allowed room for those children to flow up into the teens class and still feel like they were not being treated as children, but yet they weren't quite an adult yet. And so what this really allowed us to do is keep children all the way through until they were pretty much graduating high school. Now, for those that stayed around and they kept on training and then they found their significant other, maybe they stopped classes at some point, but when their child was 4 or 5 years old, they brought their kid to take classes. And then many times we can then re-engage that adult, re-engage that parent to come back to our adult classes. Now we have 2 generations training. Now that same process that I was talking about where the child starts taking classes, then becomes a teen, then goes to adult, and maybe the parent now isn't taking classes anymore because they might be ready to be a grandparent. They're not in classes at this point in time. Well, the process repeats again. That child who was the original child in the program now is the grandparent of a child that is now taking classes. And we've seen it happen over and over and over and over again. Now, the real trick and the real key is that if you teach the same thing from beginning to end over and over again, that student's gonna get bored. So you have to have some advanced training programs in place to take them from where they're at in the foundations all the way up to black belt and beyond, perhaps even competition or leadership or a demonstration type team, something that entices them to stay for a long term and also provides a pathway for excellence. At some point they are going to get good, but just remaining good isn't enough. And to get them to the next level, you're gonna want to have that advanced training program. Listen, if you got a ton of value out of this video, I have one thing to ask you to do, and that's to smash that subscribe button. So please go ahead and do that. And until next time, keep being awesome, my friends.